Alright, this is just another update on the table. I spent most of the last 2 weeks outside cleaning up the yard, so I'm finally getting back to it. In the meantime, at night, I've been working on this a little bit. You can see I got all the filler pieces and for putting the table on there. So, I had some aluminum angle I cut up, and I did get a mount for the monitor from Amazon. It was like a little over $20 for this mount. I couldn't believe it. It's just perfect for this monitor, and it really works good and gives it movement in all directions, so I can get it out of the way and twist it around and look at it. And you can see everything's pretty much finished up on the table here. I still have this other side drive to get in, but I got the VFD mounted back here in the corner on the box here. Show you a little better later. And I wound up putting another small box here with a contactor in it just to turn the power on and off for the VFD, because there was no power control switch on that. And I threw a piece of MDF on the table there. I still have some side shields and stuff to make. I finally did order a box for the control box here. And in the meantime, I decided that all that I did with that old box for trying to do the DC distribution, I wound up moving that to the new box, so that was a big waste of time. So I got everything in here. You can see I've got my DC power and the Masso and the drives and stuff, and I'm using the fans and the power supply to circulate the air for the drives, and I've got to put some intake filters on those holes there and stuff yet, but pretty much got it done. Got it in there, and then I found out that the one power supply, that top one there, had actually no longer worked. It kept blowing the GFI on me, and luckily I had another one. They were old and used, so I replaced that. And then I spent some time getting this rotary that I picked up on Amazon from the warehouse really cheap. I got that working, got the stepper driver hooked up and everything calibrated on that, so looks like that's going to be a wonderful thing, and that's going to be mounted off the front there when I make a rail for it. And again, you can see I got this monitor arm mounted on there. I had to make a little mount for it, and everything's pretty much in. Everything's pretty much 100% wired up here now, and all the plumbing's done, and everything's actually working right at this moment. I did pick up a ER20 collet set, so I can use any size router bit that I want. And I got this box finished up now, and some cables for the monitor that turns on and off and stuff also. And this Masso has really been a wonderful thing to work with. And you see this 2 stepper drives are up on the top there. The 2 servo drives are right there with the fans below on them. And I got all the fuses and everything mounted down in the front there. And I wound up having to put a couple relays in for the limit switches, because they would only put out 3.4 volts on them. So just wasn't enough for the Masso. So I had to boost that up a little bit. Got that wiring track all in, and everything tidied up pretty much. And this monitor arm really is a nice arm, and along the bottom of the monitor there will be several switches to home it and stuff like that once I figure out exactly what I need. And like I said, I still have to finish up that one screw on that one side there. But I did get a belt on eBay, I'll show you in a second. And I did get this VFD 100% working under control of the Masso, so that actually turned out pretty easy. There's a YouTube page by CNC Nuts that has all the information you need on these Massos. And I got that belt I ordered off of eBay. It's a T10 1-inch wide timing belt to sync the 2 drive screws together there. So this is basically all I have left to do, and I'm hoping to get that completed up this coming week. Looks like it's going to be cool and rainy, so I'll be inside. And what I really like about this Masso is you turn on the power switch. It takes a while for the monitor. It takes longer for the monitor to warm up and come on than it does for the Masso. That only takes like 10 to 15 seconds to have your machine up and running. It's really amazing, and this was really very easy to get going once you follow a couple of videos from that CNC Nuts, and it really does help you, walk you through it. and I was able to use his information to get this VFD. This VFD was a really cheap one, and different than any of the other wiring of any of them, but I got it working and programmed, and I've got it controlling all the motors here, and you can see this is that rotary again, and I can do it just using the screen on Masso there. And then I've got this pendant here, and that's all working as I showed you before when I just had it sitting on the bench, but everything's working now. The x-axis there is 100% functional right now, and the z-axis is 100% functional, and I just have to get the 2 Y screws working together, and we'll be ready to go. And then I'm just going to go do a homing routine here. I'm going to put a button on it later, but you can see it homes the Z first, and all this is controllable. And then it's going to home the X. And I have this set at a very slow speed right now, because I started out with 100 inches per minute when I started playing with this thing, and it just was too fast to stop things when things start going wrong. But it's very easy to just, bump this figure up and down once I get everything fine-tuned. So you can see the, homing cycle on this is really nice, and I can just put a button into it. And next thing I'm going to be working on is a probing cycle too. And it homes and resets everything to 0 when you're ready to go there. And you can see I've got the spindle working on, just click that little button on there, spindle on, and you type in the RPM that you want. And there you see it, spindle winding up. It's really nice and quiet. This is a nice spindle, and that 0 to 10 volt output on is extremely accurate on the RPMs of the spindle, so I'm very happy with it so far. And then you can go in there and you can actually open up another screen here that you just click on, and then you can just put in your commands. Like I'm just gonna type in send X to 20 inches there, so you just type in X20, and it's going. You can see how the Masso is fully controlling it, and it's basically calibrating everything else in that direction. And that right there, that was about 100 inches a minute, which I'm going to start out with that, and maybe I'll try to go faster later, but for right now this seems to be a good starting speed for the machine. No vibrations or shakes or anything else. And I have all the all the alarms are set and the limits. If you go outside of any of the soft alarm or the soft numbers or the hard limits, everything's working. And I'm just trying to run one of those old programs that I had from my old router, but you can see it's only spinning a 1,000 RPMs, because on the old router you just went from the S number went from 0 to 1,000, and 1,000 was the maximum value. On this, if you put in S1000, the spindle turns at 1,000 RPM, so it's a whole different world. I've got to get some different post processors and stuff. But it does run the G code. Everything works now, and like I said, get the 2 Y screws working together, and we'll be ready to go. I really do love this Masso controller, though. It's just so nice and so simple. And I decided to just throw a piece of 4x4 ash on the table there with some double-sided tape, and take the pendant here to just try to do my first cuts here. You can see I made one light pass already, and this is just cranking the knob on the pendant. I'm doing it, and I wanted to see how the spindle reacted and stuff. I think that's at about 12 to 14,000 RPM right there. And no chattering, no nothing. That's a 1/2 inch cutter. It's just an old carbide cutter I've got in there for now. And you can see it went right through it. A little worried about the double-sided tape holding because it's such a tall block, but no problem. And I got to do my first cut, which is actually pretty exciting, even though it's not under machine control. But that'll be easy enough to work out with everything talking to each other now. And I do really like that spindle. It sure is quiet and easy to use, and you know, the RPM is very accurate on it. So I'm real happy it does, you know, it does do a good job. No really vibrations or shakes or anything, and it's nice and smooth motor operation and stuff. So I think it's going to work good when I get it done. And I just wanted to do a quick update here, and you know, let you know that I am still working on it when I get a chance on the, you know, at night or in the side. But hopefully this week it'll be, you know, nasty outside, and I'll be able to finish it up. And I'm really amazed at that VFD and spindle assembly for what was about $225 for both of them. Worked good. And see, I've got a dust collection poured over it. I've moved it over to the center of the shop now, and I do have to rearrange my planer, twist that a little bit around. But so I kind of have a big mess, and everything's still moved around until I get this done. So pretty much, you can see there, you know, I do have some controls for that 220 now, and that rotary, I'm really happy that I picked that up off of the Amazon warehouse. I got a great deal on that, and that's really going to work good. And I do have tables, you know, I have to finish up that top table. There'll be T-tracks and another layer for actually doing a skim cut on and stuff like that. So that'll be coming at the end once everything's working. Some shields along the side for the bearings and stuff. And I do have to put switches across the bottom of the monitor there once I figure out exactly what I need, plus a front table there for the rotary. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.